Y'all like interviews?
Welcome to Chaotic Bazaar.
Awesome. So today we have content creator responsible for the films Seth and Tia and Snuff, the podcast Gutter Punch and Dark Hodgepodge, and the owner of Guttercore Films, Steve Hasse. How you doing, buddy?
I'm not doing too bad. How you doing, man?
Oh, you know, living the dream.
Welcome to the show. Yeah, thank you. It's my first interview.
Well, that's awesome. You should have had more than this by now. I don't know what people are sitting on, man.
That's true. I mean, I did have one with one show. It's called Mark Newhart, but I don't know if that ever got aired or not. So,
I thought I saw you on one with that guy. I saw a couple on that guy.
Might have been aired. I thought it wasn't. If it was, then I guess it's my second one.
Well, if you didn't release it, that dude's missing out, and he totally failed if he didn't release it. So,
thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, why don't you just and I mean, I already gave a list of kind of what you've worked on, but why don't you tell us what you're doing?
Oh, currently, I just recorded a Dark Hodgepodge episode today before doing this show. I'm working on a podcast Dark Hodgepodge, which is where basically I love podcasts that deal with true crime, and every once in a while I listen to a paranormal story about cryptozoology. And I thought, well, maybe I would love to have a podcast where it's all one-stop shop with all that. So I came up with the concept of doing a podcast that does all of it. And hodgepodge, if you know the hodgepodge means, it means this and that and everything. So I came up with that concept called Dark Hodgepodge, and I posted my concept on Facebook, and that's how Angel Kid got involved. She messaged me saying, hey, I'd like to do it. And then we just hit it off and we started releasing episodes. Second one's Gutter Punch. That one's just a generalized nerd talk show where we just talk about things we like, movies, video games.
I kind of like
all the time, and internet meme stuff.
Nice.
And share this. It's a horror anthology that's dealing with social media topics, basically everything that can go wrong on social media type of deal.
And so that's a collection of short films then, huh?
Yes.
Are you doing all of the short films in that? Are you kind of like, is there any other people involved with that one?
Yeah, Tiger Cherie, local actress in Michigan, she's pretty well known around the area. She directed and starred in one segment, but not in the same one. She directed one called Let Me Love You, which is about a guy who's obsesses over an Instagram model. Only we don't use that name because, trademark. And she stars in the final one I directed called Paralyzed by the Shadows, which is about sleep paralysis, but there's social media does play into it. And Angel Kid's going to direct an episode, and I believe her daughter is. And that's what I have so far. And there's probably going to be more directors signed on because I know a lot. Oh, yeah, Jermaine Davis. How can I forget him? He directed a segment as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, not just me, but I'll be doing the majority of it. But it's definitely going to be different. Everyone's going to have their own unique style to every segment.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. That's for sure.
No, thank you. Yeah, it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun project. All of them have been, really. Yeah.
Nice. So two that maybe more people are aware about since they've been out for a bit. Seth and Tia and Snuff, which I think came out before that one, the short film.
Yes.
Where Seth and Tia was a full length.
Yes. Yes, 88 minutes long. Yep.
Yeah. I know. Just doing like short little commercials, how much time it takes. So I can only imagine how much time it would take to do like a full length film. It would be a lot of time involved.
Yeah, it's 5 years of filming. Yeah, but due to scheduling conflicts and all that stuff and budget. Yeah, it took us 5 years to film, and it took me almost a year and a half to get the editing completed.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to do when you're just on your own, kind of doing everything, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think
it is. Go ahead.
I think there's a lot that people don't realize just how much goes into it. So even just in the field of like the video part, you have to deal with the lighting and the, making sure the shot's framed right and the depth and field and just all of these things. And that's just for the visual of it, and that's just for kind of the shot. That's not the movement in the shot and all of that. You got to figure out all of that, and we're only still talking about the picture of it all. That has nothing to do with the flow and the editing back into it, which is a whole nother separate thing. And then when you add audio, you have to add like the blending of the back and forth, the being able to, that not just the editing of it, but the actual capturing of it. There's so many things, the sound effects, the video effects, there's just so much that goes into it that I don't think many people realize that when one person's doing a bulk of that is why it can take so long.
Yes, and thankfully my cast was very understanding of that, but yes, it's a lot for one person to do. I mean, can it be done? Yes, it's just going to take longer, for sure. But it's worth it, honestly. You feel very happy that you completed that and you have something that you can call yours, which is a nice feeling, for sure. It's
a huge accomplishment, in my opinion, just to be able to to finish a full-length film and to get it out there. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think that anyone who pursues their passion and puts it out there, that's a major accomplishment, because not everyone's willing to has enough confidence to even attempt it,
For sure.
So I think that I respect anyone who wants to put themselves out there like that. It's very competitive. Like, there's so much content out there. You got to try to make yourself stand out. So.
And the luck of the algorithm. I mean, you see so much content that gets popular that you're like, how is this popular? Like, how does this have 1 million views? I don't quite understand. It doesn't click with me at all, but and you just random streamers that blow up and you're like, what?
Yeah, I know. And I still have yet to figure out, because I do a lot of my marketing for my own stuff. I'm trying with hashtags and all that. I'm still trying to figure the algorithm out. I Google search like, when's the best time to post this on Twitter? When's the best time to post this on Instagram? And I follow those times. I don't get the reception. And occasionally I do paid ads, which seems to get me the best results, which isn't a shocker. But man, I feel like the algorithm is impossible to figure out, because most streamers aren't able to tell you how it works.
Well, I think SEOs, SEOs that know how it works don't really want to let it out there, because if everyone knows how it works, then they can't use their tricks and it makes it harder, and they have to figure out a new trick when they change the algorithm, right? And the people at YouTube and stuff or any of the places don't want it to be specifically known, because then they would have to change it. If everyone knows it and everyone starts doing the same thing, then there's no way for them to try and have control over it, I think, is kind of the mechanism.
That's got to be it. that would make sense, and that's smart to not trade your secrets with people, because you don't, if it worked for you, you don't want to have to work it all over again to get where you are.
Yeah, it's not like they're making money off of the hosting of the videos. No. Like, YouTube's not making money having to keep servers up to keep all the content going. They're making it all off the advertising. So to them, they need to figure out, how can we maximize advertising, which would be controlling the algorithm, that sort of thing.
It's tricky. And that's why a lot of people just resort to paid ads. It's just a lot easier that way.
It is, but they kind of get you too, like, especially with Facebook. Once you do the first one, they're just expecting you to do more, and I've heard that they can tend to limit you after you've spent that money, unless you keep spending money. But as you said, they're worried about money.
Exactly. And that's how Facebook makes all its money, is off advertising too.
Yeah, and selling your data.
That's
how they're all doing it. It's not just limited to Facebook. So
yeah, I know. If you use the internet, your data's out in the open to be sold anywhere. You really want to truly not be watched or spotted. You just can't be online or on a phone,
Right. You need to be in the woods somewhere hiding if you're going to try to avoid it. And, even then in 2022, they may still find you in the woods. I don't know.
Drones.
Yeah. Or whatever else.
Has one.
Right.
Which is something I want to invest in, actually, because those do make some pretty awesome shots, and it can make it more expensive.
It's pretty effectively used in music video production right now, and you can get like some amazing shots. I've seen like fishbowl flying drone lenses going around somebody on a truck, for example.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're not expensive these days. You can get a going for like $200.
Yeah, No, that's the other thing. You can get a good one with a good camera for a few $100s. You can do some really impressive things now that would have cost tens of thousands of dollars a few years ago. And that's most technology.
Yep. I was making a point that I realized this is, if you want to do anything creative, this is the time to be alive, because they also make a ton of apps now that are free and make it easier for you to make your stuff and look cool and put it out there, which I think is awesome. Like I've done a lot of really cool stuff with some phone apps to put up on TikTok, and yeah, it's really really amazing how far we've come in that regard.
Right. Accessibility and price isn't really the limit it used to be. So this is a really good time to pursue your art. If you're really interested in pursuing art, now is a perfect time.
And now, thankfully, it's become more normalized to do it. So now, like, the person who makes movies can be looked at as the dude no different from the dude who is in a band, you know?
Right.
I feel like that we were treated differently in that regard. It's like, well, you're trying to be, you must be trying to be Spielberg, but the guy in the band, well, he just loves music. What if I just love movies, you know? So,
it was a different kind of nerd shaming, wasn't it?
Kind of, yeah. But, I mean, mostly people think it's cool. But, yeah, I've ran into that. But, I mean, I think that we are living in a pretty, I mean, we are living in some crap times current event-wise, but there's definitely a lot of, technology-wise, there's definitely a lot of pros to the con, along with the cons, that's for sure.
Technology good, economy bad.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, I mean, and not to mention, I've seen some pretty, I know TikTok gets a bad rap for their content for what they put out. Because I know that I'm sure you know what TikTok has got like a stereotype for, but I've actually seen some really cool editing and really cool short clips done by people on that site.
In my opinion, in some ways, it seems like the easiest way to go viral. If you can get like traction on TikTok, it's like a pretty effective delivery method from what I've seen. I haven't been able to do it yet, but that's what I perceive. Whether, you know, and often with music comes out of nowhere on TikTok, becomes a popular theme. So if you can hit that metric, there's potentially an opportunity there. Watch people do it every day. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was making a TikTok show for a hot minute called Cursed Objects, which I'll go back to eventually, but It was doing okay on there. I mean, I got a couple thousand views for some of the videos. And
that's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy it seems to like you do pretty well in there, and it's easy to get followers. And a lot of people in the TikTok community seem to want to help each other get exposed.
Yes, that too. There's a definite sense of like cooperative community in the different niches on TikTok.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I know there's a lot of, I hear there's toxic stuff, but I've heard on the news, so I know, well, it's there, but it's easy to, I don't know, I never ran into it, but I guess the way the algorithm works for me, it's only going to show me the guys who do creepypasta shorts.
Right. That's how you have it tailored.
Yeah, it's all about based on what you search for, really. I mean, if you're going to be searching for teenage girls twerking, they're going to show up. And if you don't, they're not going to show up. I didn't get any of that.
Right.
So
that's all that ever showed up for me. As soon as I came to TikTok, I've never liked a video. I've liked other videos, and still, that's all that comes up for me. And I don't understand why.
You got to use it for a while, because my first week that happened, but after all the likes and subs I've been doing, it kicked them out. So
well, I just found that kind of weird that that's what it defaults to, is like child porn basically. And I was like, wait, so that's whatever, like why, like, and so if I get on TikTok and my only experience is, even though I'm searching out my friends' stuff and liking their things, but every time I go on, it just always defaults to these. And even if I try and swipe through a bunch of them, that's all that comes up. I'm just like, okay, this must be the default for everybody, right? Like, apparently it's not, because I hear people say it's not. But
like,
there's a lot of people. I don't
want to see that.
There's a lot of kids making videos, perhaps, too.
Well, I'm not just saying that they're necessarily kids. Like, they could be like 18, 20, 22-year-olds. But like, it still seems like it's just like a lot of very sexually suggestive content with very, very little bit of clothes. And like, from my perspective, that's like all TikTok is, even though I know it's not, because I don't know anyone creating that content on TikTok. You know?
No, me either. Not
but
personally.
I go on and that's all I see, and it's like, what the fuck, TikTok?
See, I'm usually going there because I've heard a viral song in a clip somewhere that's being used for some sort of current meme.
Some of the video TikTok challenges are pretty fun. There was one where they ask you what you do for a living, and they had like the song where they do like this, and then you answer the question. I actually did that.
Nice.
And there was I've seen women do it in the models do the sexy version of it, but those are still entertaining. Like they say, like the song, I want to see different girls, and they're costume models, like cosplay as different girls, as different characters. And that was actually cool. Now that actually takes talent because of the way the editing is, because it's like bomb, instant. I don't know how they do it ahead of time unless they're using, I don't know how they do it unless they're using editing software like I do.
I want to say that because I think I've seen that one, or at least a version of that, where it's like they're jumping and like while they're falling it keeps changing, but they're kind of like jumping in place, but it looks like they keep changing.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they are using an app that like they set or whatever, they jump and then like it really like, does it like, like a Snapchat filter or whatever. I think it auto does that in one of those.
Okay, that makes sense, because I'm like, whoa. I mean, I know people like to shit on TikTok saying it doesn't take talent. I'm looking at those videos and those transitions, like there's some talent behind that if they're edited, because that's edited. But if they're using auto app, that would make sense. But that's still, they do put a lot of work in those costumes for those videos.
Oh yeah, to be able to reframe into the exact spot and
exactly.
That's a tough thing. That's a tough thing to do. And not
a lot of people don't realize that.
And yeah.
And they always get the continuity right with that.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things I was mentioning before with the when people don't think of how much actually goes into it. There's all these little things that go into it,
Exactly.
Let's say I do have a clip from I think it's a trailer of your newest film that you're working on, the anthology. Yeah, share this. Yeah, I sent you that. I actually put it up on YouTube just so you can get it, but I should have put it up a while ago. I'm going to be more active on YouTube because I know YouTube's a very good place for that too. Well, we're going to take a look at it now. We're going to watch it here on screen. I'm going to pull it up.
Welcome, listeners, to the Dirty Deeds Podcast. This is your host, Don D. Today, I'm going to tackle a very disturbing topic. Are a series of stories about what can go wrong when using social media.
If I'm going to kill myself, I might as well at least make it entertaining, right?
I don't know. If you ever get an inbox that says, watch this video, don't. Please do not watch it.
Is this what you want? You sick fucks.
Why are you doing this?
This is just the beginning. You did this to yourself.
You know what? It's like for people like me, you don't know what struggles we have.
It's never going to stop.
I love the colors.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I've been, I got a lot of those ideas from watching that movie Mandy with Nick Cage. That's like my current favorite movie of all time right now.
Nice. I watched...
go ahead.
I watched Willy's Wonderland with my daughter. She was a big Five Nights at Freddy, and I really liked it, actually. There was stuff that I would have changed to make just a little bit more impact in a couple of spots, but like there's so much good about that. Like there's so much good about
I love that movie. I just showed my brother that movie on Discord because my brother and I don't get to see each other a lot, so we've discovered the wonders of Discord. We can watch movies together. We watched Willy's Wonderland together. Oh my God, he loved it. That I have to show that movie to people. That movie's so much fun.
It really was.
Did you see Prisoners of the Ghostland? It's another Nick Cage movie.
I haven't.
I'll give you my voodoo information. I got a lot of his movies because I love Nick Cage movies.
I'll edit that out.
No, you won't.
He's goth now.
Nick Cage.
No, dude, that's what he said. That's what he said in his interview. He talks about his Raven. This is somewhat recent because he's involved in the comedic vampire movie and then something else. Yeah, it's coming out as well. I've never seen Willy's Wonderland.
All right, so I got some softball questions here for you, Steve.
Okay.
And these are along the lines of what are your favorites. So first, what is your favorite video game?
Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Nice. What makes you choose that?
Well, I played that game 3 times. I keep going back to it. It's got a very beautiful. I love the visuals. I love the cell graphics. Almost looks like an anime. I think it looks gorgeous visually. The controls are very smooth and fun. I just love the open world, and I also love the story. It got me into Legend of Zelda. Like, I got obsessed with that franchise after playing that. And it's just I don't know how to describe it. It's just one of those games you have to play to see what I mean, but it's very immersive, and it's just got a story that just sucks you in and you're invested in. And it actually made me kind of emotional at the end. I was actually I didn't cry, but I felt like a little sad when the credits came because I realized the game was over and then so was the story. So I had to go back and play it again.
There you go.
I've been playing Skyward Sword. That game is great. The remaster for the Switch. That's also really good. I was surprised because it was originally a Wii game where you had to use those controllers, but they made it so someone like me who has a Switch Lite can play, which is really nice.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't too big on that Wii controller movement for that game.
Me either. It's much better on a Switch Lite.
I would suspect. Though for favorite Zelda games, I don't know if I've ever. I think it was on my list of games, but I think I ended up cutting it. A Link to the Past, the Super Nintendo one, is still my favorite of all the Zelda games that have come out. And I hear that there's.
I have it.
Do you?
Yeah, because I got the emulator on my Switch. I have all the retro ones of Zelda.
Have you played it yet?
I started, but I'm starting to. I'll go back to it because I am actually really bad at retro games. I've been playing. As weird as it sounds, I've been playing Castlevania as a practice to understand retro gaming more.
Well, that's a good one. No, that'll give you some of the mechanics of, say, NES type.
Yeah, as I say, any of the Castlevania games. Probably Castlevania 3 would probably be better. Because of how the movement is just slightly better. Mario 3 is like the absolute perfect game for Nintendo retro movement because just how perfect everything was on it.
I just love Nintendo in general. I love PlayStation, PC too, but Nintendo's my favorite.
Here's the other one, Mega Man 2, because not only is the game really good and it's not super punishing, the music is so good, like it just
really
keeps
good
you in the game. Like you can't get sick of playing.
I gotta play that because Mega Man's one of my favorite characters to play on Super Smash Brothers.
It's a fun series of games, including the I haven't played past a certain amount because I've had an interesting life, but I played them as they came out back in the day.
I also really got into the Metroid games. Those games are fun. Yeah. The new one, very hard though, just like the other ones.
Which new one?
Metroid Dread.
Is it like the Prime series or is it a 2D?
It's 3D and
okay.
It's 3D. It's got new graphics. It's very pretty and the gameplay is really smooth. I say that a lot with gameplay, but that's how I know I like it. The game is still hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, I like the first Metroid Prime game, which is when they moved it into 3D, but I'm a huge fan of the 2D. Just because I don't know what it is. Like I like 2D Metroidvania games. It's like one of my favorite sorts of games.
Even the first one was amazing on NES.
Oh, God.
I know. I have a game I can recommend you if you like those graphics and it's new. It's called Octopath Traveler.
I haven't picked it up yet, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Dude, that game is amazing. It's on my top 5. I put in almost 200 hours of play into that.
Yeah, from what I gather,
that game is great.
It's like Final Fantasy plus Saga Frontier, but all new. And I love the graphics in it. I just haven't played it yet because I know how long
it looks pretty.
Play it for.
It looks really pretty.
It's very pretty, and it's got a great story, and it's just a fun. It's addicting. It's one of those games. Everyone has that one RPG game if you're a gamer that you just keep putting hours in. That was mine. And Witcher 3.
It got nominated and won a lot of awards in 2018 and 19.
My next question was going to your favorite RPG.
Oh, well, I guess I have to go with Legend of Zelda is an RPG technically, but I might, video game wise, either Witcher, Final Fantasy. Actually, no. Let's take that back, and I'm going to put up one that might be a little obscure, the Divinity Original Sin series.
First one or second one, or the way back, like the Divinity? Oh, well, that would be regular Divinity, but Original Sin, so 1 or 2.
It's a tie between the first and the second.
Okay.
The second one is really, I might have to go with the second one because I actually thought there was a lot less, the gameplay was better because there was a lot less bugs in it. I don't know about your experience of playing the first one, but my wife, that's also why I love it, because it's couch co-op. You can play with your partner or just a buddy. It's like D&D, the video game. And we were trying to play the first one on PS4, and it just kept lagging on certain parts or just kicking us out at certain parts because they never fixed the bugs in the game. I feel like. So I'm going to have to go with 2, even though the first one's still great. Now thinking about it.
I've never played them online, but I preferred the first one over the second one. And I don't know if it could have been just my mood, but I really got into the first one, and the second one I had a harder time getting into. I don't know why it was, because I was like so excited because of the stuff that they did to the second one was stuff I wish they had in the first one. But then once I started playing it, I was like, well, maybe I didn't know what I had, like, and that's kind of the feeling that I had with playing the second one was like, I was like, yes, this is gonna be awesome. And I was like, well, maybe it's, and maybe just because it's a little bit more, I don't know what it is. I like them both though. I think they're both great games.
I heard that the first one is very good on the PC and doesn't have as much problems as console. And I have the first one on PC because my spouse has a Steam account and she has a ton of games on it. So I got it on there. So maybe you and I can work something out. We can play that at least once a week. Yeah. That's basically D&D.
Yeah, there's actually
a little bit more.
There's a few good multiplayer D&D games that you could maybe start a thing on doing.
I heard Neverwinter was really cool. I thought about that one.
If you like Original Sins, then you'll love the new. Oh wait, Neverwinter. I was thinking Baldur's Gate 3, because Baldur's Gate 3, which isn't quite out yet, it's made by Lariat, which made Original Sins.
Yes.
I don't want to give a pre thing because they've changed it a lot because I got it as soon as they let the pre-order go out on it, like when you could do the beta, and it felt unfortunately like I was playing Original Sins 3 and not Baldur's Gate 3, and I really didn't like that. But the character creation is perhaps the best 5e character creation that I've ever seen. There's more races and sub-races and classes than I've seen come out at a beginning, so that's super exciting. You'll love that, Lee. The amount of character customization that you have in that game.
Yeah, I really want to play that one. And that my spouse, LaJust and I, that's my name of my spouse, she and I have been like very disappointed because we couldn't get on the Switch, because we tend to play games like that on the Switch just because we both have the worst eyesight ever, and it's easy to read on that thing. But like, I've been wanting to play that one so bad because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, I would really heavily suggest waiting until they actually release it though, because one, there has been so many huge changes that like I'm so happy with, because when I first played it, I was like, oh, and then they made a bunch of those changes because it was just kind of like, why is it like this? And then it was like, oh, okay, it's getting better. And if they actually like get it to the point, just don't play it in the early release, because it's still an early release, right? Wait until like the full game comes out, because the story's gonna be better, the intro is gonna be better, everything's gonna be better about it. That's what took me out.
Yeah,
the beginning is so bad. It was when I first got it.
Yeah.
I spent way more time in the character creator and playing through the first intro scene just to see how they did the mechanics, which it took me a while to realize they auto did the mechanics. So the mechanics aren't even actual D20 mechanics in the opening. It's kind of like this automatic thing that's trying to help you like learn the character. So like if you think you're doing something right, it would show you doing it wrong, and then you rebuild your characters to try and get it to work better, and it's like, oh, you find out something's just not working right. Like, I can't get this roll. Why is this roll happening? Like, I built the character so this roll couldn't happen, but it still happens, and you're like, okay. And then it comes out, oh, that's what they're doing. But man, the intro, oh my God, the intro's so awesome. We played it on the show a couple episodes ago, dealing with mind flayers and illithids. And oh my God, it's so awesome. So anyways, genre of music. What is your favorite genre of music?
Oh man, that's hard. I'm gonna say industrial, because that's the one I listen to the most.
Good.
I listen to. My list of bands of industrial artists is way much larger than any other genre.
Good. I'm biased. I already have my Cold Wave tickets for 2022.
Oh, I love Cold Cave. Cold Cave or Cold Wave?
Cold Wave's the festival they do every year in Chicago.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of Cold Cave because they're.
I love Cold Cave.
Me too. I'm gonna go see Tool soon with as a birthday present. I can't wait. No, that's not industrial, I know, but that's another. I love metal too, and I'm gonna be seeing them live. I'm excited about that.
Maynard's adjacent to a lot of things.
He really is. Like, he's a part of a lot of projects, and I think that's cool though.
I'm more a Pucifer guy, but I appreciate him.
Yeah, he clearly loves the art of the music, and that's something I appreciate about him. Oh yeah, I'm wearing a Angel Spit shirt, by the way, if we're talking industrial music.
Nice. I'm almost always wearing an industrial t-shirt of some sort, but I have like a homemade Frankenstein airbrush shirt on right now. Somebody made for me. Because of content.
That makes sense. I know the Zoog or Carl from Angel Spit.
I don't think he mentioned that. They're all. I love our scene, whether it's Ayatoya or not.
I know Ayatoya. Anya?
We were talking about it because King asked me if I knew her, and I met her at Cold Waves. We missed her. She was supposed to open for Assemblage 23 last year in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, when the Assemblage 23 tour started off. And we drove all the way up to Madison, not Milwaukee, and went to the bar there, the Crucible in Madison. Highly recommend it. Great goth bar. And she ended up, because of the pandemic, not coming to open. And so I sent her like a nice message about that. But then I literally got to meet her at Cold Waves Festival like about 3 weeks later.
That's cool. You got to actually, I never actually met her in person. I've conversed her on email.
Even in all that goth ridiculousness and all the hair color, I immediately spotted her across the metro.
You can't miss her because she always has like the coolest hair like ever.
She's got like kind of parrot colorings often, or it's macaw-like. I don't even know. It's impressive, and she's an impressive artist as well.
She really is, and was nice enough to let me use one of her songs in my segment and share this, by the way. Out of Order is going to be in it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, she was so chill about letting me use it. And she was like, yeah, go ahead, I don't care.
Scene people are generally pretty chill.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Neurotic Fish said I could do it.
Oh, nice. I love Neurotic Fish.
And Kyson from Ipsy. She's from Ipsy, I believe.
I think you're right. It's been a long
She's
weekend.
Really cool. If you haven't, I'm sure you know who that is.
I don't know everything. I somehow missed Pink Turns Blue until about 4 years ago. So, it's not a perfect world.
It's not, no. I can lame all the list, but I think the most enthusiastic and the ones I know personally that's in that scene is definitely Carl Zoog, and also known as Carl from Angel Spit. That dude's always excited about everything.
I watched him play in some of the virtual temples during like the pandemic, because there's a virtual temple event going on, and of course the entire scene went online when everything was closed. Like, I spent a lot of time on Twitch messing with scene people. We're watching them.
Yeah, I met him one time when he was opening for Lords of Acid, and he was
nice.
He was super nice, just like one of the nicest musicians I've met. Behind the scenes or whatever, like after shows.
Question about that. Where was this venue?
We were in Chicago.
It wouldn't be where he was.
It was, I don't know, it was the one by Wrigley Field. I forgot what it's called.
That'd be Metro. That's where Cold Waves is held. Smart Bar's in that building too.
Oh, okay, because they opened for Lords of Acid when I went to. It was
there are other bars in that neighborhood, but that's the main one.
Blondie's in Detroit. It was Blondie's. They closed down a long time ago though. Probably because go ahead.
That one's gone. I've been following all the clubs during the pandemic, and I always kind of keep track. My plan is to hit everything in a 4-hour radius as soon as it warms up.
Oh yeah, Blondie's was shut down a long time ago, I think, because I can tell you from experience they never carded you for booze. A lot of minors were getting booze.
Damn, that happens in pro tip you need to send out culture.
That's probably why.
Cool. So
Smalls is still around in Detroit, though. Just so
yes,
you know.
It is. I haven't been there in long. I only been there. Man, I haven't actually been to a place like that since I got married.
Madison, Wisconsin. I swear it's one of the best. The Crucible's just amazing. So everything you expect in a goth bar.
That's what I like to hear. I probably would go there for nostalgia factor for sure.
I was even comfortable in the height of the pandemic. They checked all our cards. We all wear masks. We all were 6 feet away. Because that was like, what? Tom's first show was, I think, October 10th last year, or maybe September 10th last year. So, everything was just starting to like get back to semi-normal somewhat. Venues were opening and they were hardcore, like, even then. And the other thing I noticed in Madison is everybody liked the elbow bump because of, coronavirus.
That's about what I do now, too. I mean, I'm not very public about it, but I definitely take it. I have been taking the pandemic very seriously. I do wear masks still, even though I have my vaccines and the booster shot.
Right.
I still wear my mask out in public, and I won't come anywhere near anyone I don't know, which is I'm a little nervous about the Tool show just because of that. But I think what I'll do is I'll just shower as soon as I get home and wash my clothes.
I haven't been out and done anything since the pandemic started. And if I do go out, I wear a mask and I don't get close to anybody. I stay outside if I can, and I would like to see us get done with it, and I think the more that we could do that. But anyways, Steve, favorite genre of film?
Horror by far. I love horror movies. I can't get enough of them. That is by far my favorite genre.
Nice. Yeah, I love me some horror.
I love all genres, but that's my favorite.
What about your favorite horror film then? Or maybe not favorite, because that's a hard choice. But how about like one that comes to mind as being one of your favorites?
Exorcist is the first one to come to mind because that one got me a little bit more serious in the horror.
Rick Baker.
Yes, that's some of the best makeup ever made. To this day, it still holds up. That movie is the story behind making that movie is crazy. And I'm not even talking about the haunted set part. I'm talking about like how they did things.
It's a really interesting set of circumstances, that's for sure.
Yeah. William Friedkin is he don't fuck around, man. He knows how to get shit done.
So, how about your favorite cuisine or your favorite dish that you've ever had? Like, it could be a single one-off dish or just like,
Favorite cuisine? I'm going to have to, probably Mexican, I'd say. I love Mexican food, either authentic or Tex-Mex, or Cali-Mex. I'm always happy with that type of, with that. I mean, my favorite food is probably chimichangas and carne asada, so.
It's hard to go wrong with Mexican food, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's really hard. See, finally he makes an appearance.
Mine are all still asleep.
Yeah, mine decided he wanted to get belly rubs.
So what do you have planned for the future besides Share This?
I definitely will be continuing the podcast. I don't foresee why I wouldn't. I've been really enjoying doing it, and I'm more likely than not going to have a new movie lined up. I mean, me and my buddy Steven, his name is also Steven. He goes by Griffin on the show Gutter Punch. He and I are spitballing ideas for a full length script right now.
Nice.
That's going to be, I'm not going to give it away, but the Share This played a lot of inspiration to what we're writing, because there's a particular character we're going to expand on from it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Nice.
So is it taking place before or after this segment and this character? See, now I'm getting into it.
We are kind of thinking prequel? Before. It's sort of a prequel / spinoff.
Okay.
So it's going to be a before all the stuff you see and Share This happen.
Nice. That's awesome.
But it's not an anthology. It's actually, it is and it isn't. How would I describe movie? Because I don't know what they call those movies. I don't think they really make them anymore. At least I haven't seen one in a while. Crash, Babel, 21 Grams, where they have like the multiple stories going on at once and they just jump one story to story.
And they intertwine, and at the end they all kind of come together. That sort of idea.
Yes, that's what I'm making.
Okay.
This time.
Yeah, like Pulp Fiction.
Exactly.
Some of my favorite kinds of movies have those crazy storylines going like that.
I love Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
that is a movie that nobody had faith in apparently before it came out, and they didn't think it was going to be good. And it's still talked about to this day and quoted.
I can understand why. If I were to read it without knowing what I know about it, I might be like, what the hell is even going on, and what's the point of any of this?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't sound good, but when you see it in its context, you're like, oh, okay.
Right. Lee, do you have any questions for Steve?
Why did you choose the name of your film studio?
Guttercore?
Yes.
I don't know why. I'll be honest. I always loved the term gutter punk, even though I never was really technically a punk kid.
I hung out with them a lot back in the day, but yeah, I'm not exactly a gutter punk either. I mean, I'm clean shaven, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I've got friends who are too, and I always thought that subculture was interesting, and I kind of also love B movies that happen to have that kind of those types of characters in it, like Suburbia and Repo Man.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And I saw that there was a genre of film called mumblecore, and I think that's what it's called, mumblecore.
I'm familiar with the rap.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like rap.
That's rap. Sorry, that's mumble rap. Then there's mumblecore, something. I know that the movie with John C. Reilly and Jonah Hill called Cyrus matches that category.
Okay,
but I thought, okay, well, they got this genre. I'm like, I want to call my genre of film Guttercore as a joke to myself in my head, and I just thought that term. And I kept saying to myself in my head, and I thought it sounded really cool, like Guttercore.
And you're an industrial kid, so you're used to just like modifying the language to tag the thing on to make an impression of what you're trying to convey.
Yeah, I felt like it rolled off the tongue when I said it.
It's a genre of narrative film focusing primarily on the intimate lives of young characters and featuring scenes of ample dialogue and minimal action. That's according to Merriam-Webster, the definition of mumblecore.
So Clerks?
Yes. Yep, I just looked it up, and I maybe seen a handful of movies that are considered mumblecore.
So wouldn't Clerks be considered mumblecore?
Oh, what?
Clerks?
I don't know if it would be.
I don't know. It might be considered.
It's only like one set it's between the movie store and it's mostly all in one shot in one area, and it's all just talking. There's nothing really going on besides the dialogue. Hell, you could probably play Clerks audio and you'd still get almost the same reaction.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's so great. I mean, it's one of my favorite films, but because whenever I was looking up that when you were first coming up with this Guttercore idea and you were sharing the mumblecore stuff, like my very first thing when I was reading the description and stuff was like, that's Clerks. That's to me, that's like what that film is basically like. It's just a hangout film. I wouldn't say Mallrats is like that, but I would say Clerks. I wouldn't say Chasing Amy is like that either.
No, but definitely Clerks.
I feel I could be wrong. I could be wrong because I don't know what people are. But when I read the descriptions of that, that's kind of, I really felt like it was like Clerks was one of those movies.
I feel like it should be consider that if it isn't.
Well, I mean, they kind of, in the Wikipedia article, and like according to various people that have defined that style, it looks like even that movie Slacker from 1990, whatever it was, I don't know if you've seen Slacker, it kind of fits that whole motif. She was selling Madonna's pubic hair, if I recall. In one of those scenes.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I've definitely seen Slacker.
It was more back in my psychological, entertainment days with various mind-altering substances that we watched the majority of those movies.
You should have saved those times for when Mandy came out. Because that's a great movie for something like that. I never tried psychedelics, by the way. I know I'm too scared of them. But I feel like that movie would be like one of the best movies to watch on that.
Nice. I'll keep that in mind.
Let me say, don't be scared of psychedelics. Just don't.
It depends.
Don't even say anything, Lee. There's no reason to be afraid of them. Don't let any fear creep in about them. As long as you're getting them from like a legit source, not like say Ann Arbor, because it's legal to get mushrooms and shit there. So like if you're getting something like that, no reason to be afraid of it. Like they're using them for a lot of treatments now. They're finding that it like cures PTSD, depression, all this stuff. Just maybe doing 1 or 2 sessions with like somebody that's there to like keep everything positive. But I'm not saying that I've ever done psychedelics. But if I had, let me just tell you, I haven't ever had a bad time on them, hypothetically. There's been times where worry kicks in, but that's generally at the beginning where you have an unknown feeling. But that's just any anxiety that you'd have. That all melts away, and you start to feel at peace with the world, and you start to understand things that you might not have understood before that you were having worries about. You can really think about things and get through things that you might not even consciously be thinking about in your waking time. And that's why they're starting to get approved all around the nation for use for curing PTSD, for curing anxiety, for curing depression, for curing all of this shit. Ketamine too.
I definitely support legalizing mushrooms and weed and marijuana because there is not any proof that they're harmful. and they're naturally grown plants. There's nothing dangerous in them. And I'd much rather see people doing pot than heroin. So
for sure, right?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think kind of the problem with psychedelics is they were worried that they were going to open doors in your mind that they wouldn't have control over and wouldn't know how to stop. So they had to stop psychedelics in this sort of way. But I think they did enough research over the years to probably figure out that, oh, what do you know? You can't like time travel from doing acid if you like there's no magical component to it. It's like something happening inside your head, and that's kind of really it. They're like, oh, wow, maybe there's a lot of positive effects that we can like use it for. So
right, but there's still a lot of studies having to do with the specific psychological makeup, and it depends on the individual person's issues. Some issues do not react well with mushrooms, according to modern.
Yeah, like if you have like schizophrenia, like they know if there's certain things that they don't necessarily, they can, but like, you have to be really careful on how it does because it could trigger other things.
Part of the problem is it can cause psychosis if you're not prepared as well, because not everybody's ready to rip all what's hiding between them and their true self away. I've had to take people to the hospital under such circumstances in the 90s, unfortunately. It happens. Just be careful. Have yourself a nice, safe spot.
Yeah, it's just the same with drinking or anything else.
Well, drinking's not too spiritual, in my opinion.
But
I mean, it came from Egyptian spirituality, so who am I to judge?
What I mean is I've seen a lot of kids have to go to the hospital for it because they drank too much. And it was way more serious than the tripping kid who was just freaking out and had nothing wrong going on. But this other kid was dying because alcohol was literally shutting his body down. The difference of, you know what I mean? Like that, everyone should have been afraid of. The psychedelic, it was more like he was freaking out because of like things he was thinking about and not realizing it was going to happen or whatever. I think a lot of people that have those freakouts go into psychedelics though, like thinking it's going to be a party thing and everything's just going to be awesome and party, and that's not really what psychedelics are like. It's like a much like you say, spiritual thing.
It's a building block for yourself and your own mental image and the clearing of any of the bullshit that you've accumulated between the trauma and that moment.
Yeah, you have to go into it knowing with that mindset. But I think it has such a tool to make mental health a lot better.
Don't do Jimson weed. I mean, you're just going to end up in the hospital. It's going to be a terrible experience. I have a friend.
I have no interest in trying that type, so it's okay.
Make a tea out of it for sure if you're going to, but don't eat the pods, man. What do you think of virtual reality affecting the horror industry? And have you done any horror virtual reality?
No to making horror virtual reality. I actually never thought about it. I think it's a cool idea. I didn't really realize that was taken off. Is that taken off?
You go to like a pod ride or you're dealing with VR, scaring people is like, it's good at two things better than anything else VR. Falling off of stuff and jump scares. Ambiance can be amazing. I basically ran these VR pods at the mall for a couple of years. And dude, like even a fake looking spider jumping at you in 3D evidently will scare most people. And my best ride was actually recorded in an insane asylum with real people in costume, with dressing, with script and planning. And it was very effective, If you're recording 360, for example, you don't realize, I'm in a wheelchair, but you don't think to look behind you and see who's been recorded pushing it, for example. And in VR, it feels closer than it should be. It's more 3D than actual reality in some ways. So jump scares or getting stabbed or whatever the case may be, pretty effective.
I always wanted to try it. They released one of my favorite video games. It's called Until Dawn.
Okay.
It's basically like a movie where you choose the scenarios. Their sequel was for the PS4 VR, and I heard that was really cool.
That's what I'm generally running nowadays is PSVR. And, Biohazard, Resident Evil 7, holy crap in VR. Oh, my God. And it plays in VR natively. So if you have PSVR, you can literally put the headset on and wander around the house in 3D or follow through the sewers.
Maybe I'll get one.
It's an interesting thing. I'd be curious what you think of it. And I plan on doing some VR recordings, including some stuff for Halloween this year. So maybe we should talk maybe literally later in the year and figure some stuff out.
I think a feature film in VR would be sweet if it hasn't been done already. Has there been one done?
I don't know if there has been. The problem with the average person, you'd have to set that for a specific market. The average person's eyes are going to get strained and traumatized if they don't use it all the time. If it's somebody that does use it all the time, that'd be different. I don't know. I think shorts are better just for the simple eye strain.
Yeah, that's a good idea to start with shorts.
Minecraft, but I play Minecraft in it too, so I don't know who to judge. My eyes are not everybody's eyes.
I'm well aware there's VR porn, so there has to be a VR movie that's narrative.
I'm aware
so
of that
far avoided it because I'm afraid of ruining 2D porn. I'm
sure you will. Can't say I tried. I don't actually know anyone who's tried that, but I know I can get an Oculus for my phone.
Well, you could even sideload stuff from sites onto your PS4 if you have one. You just have to sideload it. You could then, in theory, use the media player to play stuff in PSVR. And, PSVR actually can hook up with various drivers to your computer as well. Steam has a driver that somebody made a third party that works with most of the stuff on.
That is VR. Interesting. I didn't know VR was taken off that much. I knew people had it, but it felt like it was kind of...
It's niche, but growing exponentially powerful, and it's probably going to make kind of a minor impact this year that you'll probably be able to notice in even mainstream culture, in my opinion. We'll see.
I mean, I love the concept of it. I mean, people love to escape, and what better way to escape than in your favorite video game or movie,
Right, and it's really more, if somebody's jumping at you and you sense it as real versus somebody jumping at you in a 2D screen, it's a much different experience.
Oh, yeah, because I don't jump. I know some people jump around video games, but I played so many horror games, I don't. I really could try because I actually haven't been scared in years. Nothing scares me anymore because I've seen so many horror movies and been to so many attractions.
I mean, same thing, but mostly dating. Similar sort of stuff, but yeah.
Me, it's going to the dentist. That's pretty fucking terrifying.
Yes. Though I still want to record my second root canal in 3D if I can.
Do it.
I haven't gotten permission to do that. I'll ask Monday.
Do it.
So along those lines, my last question for you, Steve, is why do you think America doesn't have universal health care?
Shit. That's a tough question for me to answer. Politicians don't want it because pharmaceutical companies bought them, and that's less money for people. And health insurance. I wish we had free healthcare. I'm not going to lie. I work in the medical billing industry, and I can see how much some of these bills are, and it's ridiculous what they charge.
It's a huge racket. It's a terrible system, and nobody wants to fix it because, as you said, all the politicians and the pharmaceutical companies and the 1%ers or whatever.
And there's people in our income who don't agree with it either, but I don't really feel like they understand how much that would benefit them. But
the general populace is fed a lot of half truths and bad truths, and that's a show in and of itself.
My political views go all over the place, and I admittedly flip-flop in my own head, so that's also why I keep my political views mostly.
That's good. The plasticity of being able to change your mind is something that seems to be a less average citizen sort of thing anymore.
Yeah.
What we believe can be wrong. We have to start with that assumption. I mean, that's philosophy talking, though, too.
And now we're on to the second part of the interview, the
Chaotic Bazaar's AD&D.
Quest for gold!
And we are here for Chaotic Bazaar's AD&D Quest for Gold with Steve, where he can answer questions and win real gold if he can get the right answers. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, why not? Let's do this.
Yeah, there's a lot of gold that you can win for your future endeavors, so we want to make sure that you're properly prepared. So are you ready?
Yes, let's do this.
So our first question, if you had an 1899 strength score in first edition AD&D, what would your bend bars lift gates percentage be?
180 degree, no, percentage? 72%.
Oh, sorry, Steve. How did you come up with 72% before I reveal the correct answer?
Top of my head.
Okay, well, top of your head was wrong. It is 35%. And 1899 is a 35%.
What's 1800?
Even my cat didn't like that I got the answer wrong. He's walking away from me.
He's
embarrassed.
I think at 1800 it bumps up to 40%. And that is the same in second edition as well. I will make that mention. Okay, Steve, are you ready for the second question? No points on the first one, no gold coins for you, but hey, we're doubling the amount that you can get. Doubling the amount you can get. Second question.
Hey, one coin is double.
Second question, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, in first edition AD&D, suppose you were a 5th level halfling thief with a 17 dexterity, and you wanted to pickpocket the local barmaid of the copper that you just paid for the glass of grog that you are now consuming. What percentage chance do you have to succeed pending that there are no other disadvantages?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, for sure. In first edition AD&D, so first edition, just to make sure that's clear, suppose you were a 5th level halfling thief with a 17 dexterity, and you wanted to pickpocket the local barmaid of a copper that you had just paid for a glass of grog. What percentage chance do you have in succeeding of pickpocketing if you had no sort of disadvantage or advantage involved?
Crap, I want to know how many. Well, dexterity is an actual point you would put towards a thief. I would say, and it's a level 5. What's the level of the person I'm robbing again?
We're saying it doesn't matter. She's a level 0 commoner. So there's no disadvantage against that. It'll be the easiest, the most possible percentage you'd have.
I'd say there is a 60% probability that I'll succeed in this.
You are so close. Can you tell me how you came up to the 60% answer?
Well, dexterity is 17 dexterity. That's pretty high dexterity points, and that would be going towards a thief and a level 5, which means he's gotten enough experience to be able to sneak in and pickpocket because of all the experience that you gain from playing on the previous levels. Well, kind of, but you know what I mean by that. Building up the character and stuff. So that would increase your chances. It would certainly be a greater chance than, say, a level 3.
All right. Well, the answer is wrong, unfortunately, but you were super close, super close. The answer is actually 65%. And we're going to arrive to the 65% because a level 5 thief has a 50% chance to pickpocket. 17 dexterity gives you an extra 5% chance to pickpocket, but the halfling gives you another 10% racial. So without
tiny.
Yes. So without, that's the thing that you forgot. And perhaps you would have hit 65 if you would have just added that little halfling. But
yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that. I have friends who play as halflings for that reason, because it's easier to get in and out of places.
Exactly. All right, and our final question. We will do this for 10 times the amount. Are you ready, Steve?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. How much experience does it take an elven magic user to reach 12th level?
Oh, man.
This is a hard one. This is a very hard one.
12th level in the magic points. I can't imagine it would take long because elves are one of the best races to pick if you're going to go in the magic route. You got to be at least level 3. It doesn't take long normally for something like that for them.
How much experience points does it take to become level 12?
Oh, experience points. 20 points.
20 points of experience to get to level 12?
Is that your final answer?
Is that
yes?
Thank you. Final answer. Okay. You were very close if you might have added several zeros after that. However, it is a trick question because elves in first edition AD&D can only get to 11th level pending that they have an 18 intelligence. If they have an 18 intelligence, they can go no higher than level 11. If they have a 17, they can go to level 10. And if they have a 16 or lower, they can go up to level 9. And they're capped at level 9. So while a human wizard can go up to level 29 or higher, at least there's stats for level 29 in that book.
That's a lot of points, man. Like I said, been a while.
As a bonus, I will give the idea a level 3 thief has the same experience as a level 2 wizard. So, too bad you didn't win anything, Steve. How do you feel about not getting any of the gold today on the first edition Chaotic Bazaar's quest for gold?
I will say that I feel that I should probably play D&D again.
Yes.
Since I only played it for a month and it was a while ago.
Yes.
That is probably the best answer that we could have had come out of that, Steve. I think both Lee and I agree with that.
That's always an acceptable answer to that question.
It's a fun game. I mean, I got to get educated more. I need to get into more of those tabletop RPGs. Those are so much fun.
And with that, we are going to move to our next segment where we will take a look at a couple videos and react with you, Steve. How about that?
All right.
And in this segment, we're going to be playing some trailers of movies that were important to me in my formative years of childhood, though I didn't actually see the first one when it came out. I had to wait about a decade because I was 1 year old.
What's the first one we're taking a look at?
First one we're taking a look at is this wonderful movie named Octoman from 1971. Big rubber suit, people getting thrown through the air accidentally. Rick Baker's a teenager helping out on set and working on the costume that he didn't even make. And it's just absolutely insane and ludicrous. It affected most of the people that made the movie, and it's just like terribly ridiculous and bad.
All right,
in my opinion. Allegedly.
Let's take a look.
A mutation of sorts that had all the characteristics of a human cell.
It's worse than I expected.
The contamination level?
It keeps rising.
Even reveals some shift in the evolutionary process that can create something half-man, half-sea creature.
Awesome.
I trust the critic that said they're allergic to shellfish. It must be good if they still liked it.
I think I first found out about it because they did like Fangoria did a thing on Rick Baker in like the early 80s. Not, they did more than one thing on Rick Baker in the 80s, but in this particular one, they actually like talked about Octoman. I'm like, holy crap, I need to see that. And, I did. And, well, it looked a lot better at 81 or whatever when I was 10 years later than maybe now. But, it's a marketable thing. They should still make it Octoman too. It'd be easier to do now.
I like movies like that.
Yeah,
and it was actually written by the same guy that wrote Creature of the Black Lagoon. It was one of the last scripts he made.
I swear,
so it's kind of like encapsulates a career almost in some sort of way.
I swear I have sample packs that have some of those audio samples in it.
Well, there's this weird F-Zero meme thing, Octoman theme that happened too that I'm still trying to figure out while I was doing research last night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know there were like F-Zero themes and memes, and then I didn't know there were Octoman.
Well, isn't Octoman one of the F-Zero like writers or bosses or something? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think that's how that came about.
I played it back in the day in the arcade.
Yeah, I don't know what edition it came out for, if it was on the Super Nintendo one or if it was for a later edition or what. But I think that's how the crossover comes from, if I'm not mistaken. I love monster movies and physical.
Me too.
Physical effects, even if they look cheesy.
You could probably 3D print that suit now.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Parts of it, at least.
I love movies like that too. I still need to buy that movie Trog. Joan Crawford.
Yes. Oh my God. Good stuff.
Yeah. One of the reasons I like movies like this and B movies is because you get to see the process that they used to make it. Like, you kind of get to see the strings behind the thing, where when it's really good, you might not understand how they're doing the effects, but with these, you're like, I get what they're trying to do,
The effects.
There's heart to them too.
Aquaman could take Aquaman in a fight.
Could Aquaman control Octoman?
I think Octoman would have been a better Justice League member.
Well, I have to see the movie make that decision.
I would think Aquaman could control Octoman because he's like octopus, right?
He's seafood, isn't he? You eat him.
Well, I mean, we've seen Harry Potter though. Maybe Octoman would control Aquaman, or Aquaman. Maybe we can splice them together and have Aquaman.
He speaks octopus.
They'll do a fuse dance and become Octa.
Right. Octa.
I'd watch that.
Octa.
Right. Zack Snyder, you're taking notes, man. We want this shit.
I picture Barbie girl playing in the background probably just because we said Aqua. My second film that I was a little older and I got to see this not long after it came out was the legendary film Brain Damage, which you've probably seen.
It sounds familiar. I feel like I might have.
It's a little bit different of a monster movie with a very hallucinatory aspect from 1988.
If I haven't, I probably will watch it tonight.
It's worth watching.
It's on Shudder.
It probably is.
It's funny. One night you go to bed, and when you wake up, everything is different.
It is funny.
Now Brian's acting a little peculiar.
He's like a completely different person. I don't even know him anymore.
Something's gotten into him.
Sometimes everything glows with a different kind of light.
Deep into him.
What are you telling me? That we killed someone last night?
Something bad.
Tacky, Brian. Tacky.
Something slimy.
What are you doing?
Something very...
I know something's happened to you.
Very...
What the hell is that?
Hungry.
You can't keep killing people every time.
I haven't seen it, but I'm surprised I haven't.
No, Brian. I own you. Gotta get out of here fast.
Go where?
You're a wreck, Brian.
Leave me alone!
Whenever you want to stop hurting, you come to me.
Brain damage. It will turn you inside out.
Yes.
It's from the same guy who directed Bad Biology and Frankenhooker.
This is a good movie. I forgot the title
I've seen Frankenhooker.
I own Frankenhooker too. I have it on Blu-ray.
Nice.
I had totally forgotten about this movie. I remember I didn't see it till, I think I might have seen it when I was like much younger, but I didn't remember it until I resaw it and was just like, oh, there's so many good gags and stuff in it. That's the one thing that I remember, just like how much interesting things that they did. Yeah.
And they put the Lolita scene back in a modern version that I won't spoiler it, but
yeah, I'm gonna watch that because I'm surprised I haven't seen it. Given I've seen Basket Case, I've seen Society,
I was lucky enough to have a mom that was very supportive, and like my interest in horror was rewarded by I was getting Fangoria by like 81, 82, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Mom was really supportive of all my hobbies and interests, and I have a lot of hobbies and interests, so kudos to her.
Yeah, that's awesome. My parents support me too. That's pretty cool to have that and have it in your corner like that.
Especially if you're like some sort of potentially super productive weirdo.
Yeah, I get that.
My third and final trailer is, it goes by a couple different names. It's been called City of the Walking Dead, or it's confused with City of the Walking Dead. It gets called City of the Living Dead, but when I saw it, it was called Gates of Hell. It's your pretty gory Italian 1980s gore fest horror from that era, B-movie ridiculousness, a lot of gross out stuff and moments.
Doesn't that have a term?
I've seen it too.
Doesn't that have a term for those that genre of Italian horror from around that era? Don't they have like a special term they use for that?
Gallo?
Yeah, that's or it's
Gallo?
If it's not that, it's
How
close
do you
to
say
that.
it?
I want to say it's Gallo, but like it's close. Yeah, it's whatever you're saying. That's what it is.
Yeah, because I mean Deep Red's in that genre. That's another great movie. So the original Suspiria.
There's a lot of synth music in that genre.
Can you guess my favorite one of all of those that genre?
I feel like I know the answer, but it's not coming to me right now. You got a guess, Lee? Because I
really don't.
Give you a hint. It came out in 85.
Well, that allows me to cheat.
I'm trying to.
Okay, it's Demons.
What is it?
Demons. It's just called Demons. It's about the people.
Oh, now I feel like a poser because I straight up should have just shot that out of my mouth initially.
Yeah,
I mean that movie
it's amazing. It's amazing. Like it's just so it's amazing.
I've seen that movie so many times, and it has one of my favorite soundtracks in it.
It has an amazing soundtrack, and it still holds up for what it was. Because I like going back and watching all the old stuff too. I'm worse about modern media. I need to get past that. That's a little resistance on my part. I'll take care of soon. I have about 10 years of horror movies to catch up on, besides the odd one here or there. I like to watch music videos.
Me too.
That's what I'm usually doing.
This is a great movie. I've seen this one more than a couple times.
So has Kyle told you the stories about the location we're going to?
Stories.
About all the killings. Apparently Ed Gein used to spend his summers up there. He skinned a heap of women, and he wore their flesh over his body. Really wore the ladies out.
Here we are, shoot day 1. Action. Everyone is still alive and accounted for. Run! So far.
And I haven't seen one of those since I was a kid. My name is John Berenger. 42 years ago, my wife and I abandoned our son behind these gates to a woman, Petra von Diebich. She began taking in children rejected by society. How are we to know the atrocities being inflicted?
Hold on.
What the fuck was that?
That's not the right gates of hell.
But it's got my interest. I'm like, this isn't the right one, but I want to see this one.
Listen, this seems like kind of a new movie. I know some of those effects that they use. They're like in Vegas, and then I was like, I kind of do want to see the baby scene now.
So I accidentally found a movie we need to watch, basically, is what happened.
That's what you just did. I want to see it. It does look like my kind of movie.
No, it doesn't look. It looks good.
Take a look.
The city of the dead. The living dead.
Necronomicon Ex Mortis.
A cursed city. Where the gates of hell have been opened.
That's some editing.
I know how they do that.
Yeah, right? The movie's definitely dated, but it's still good.
There's some amazing shots in this film.
Yes. Ah, brutal.
Yes.
Cry them tears. Tears of blood. That's a fucking trailer. That's how trailers should be. I didn't hear in a world or any of that shit. It was just like some weird synthy, like fuzzy music, and then just like gore and screams. Like that's what I need.
Exactly.
That car scene, the one car scene. I don't want to spoiler it, but that intestinal car scene. I used to rewind that and watch her slurp them all up. Good times. This is one of the two notorious movies. The other I'm not mentioning for this recording was for my 11th birthday party. We got to watch that. Sorry, Mom.
That is a classic, though. City of Living Dead is a classic.
I have not seen it, so I need to watch it. I don't think I've seen it anyway. It doesn't look familiar.
It's definitely on Tubi.
I think they do. Yeah, it's on Tubi. It's kind of a notorious movie. It's well known to within the subgenre of our interest. But like, there's this wonderful scene when you get to the car and she throws up, and you'll understand everything I've said, kind of alluding in the last couple minutes. Go ahead and wait till it's done and then rewind it because it's funny as hell.
That's funny. Have you played it in reverse?
Like, oh, you're grossed out? Watch, we'll fix it.
Have you played it in reverse instead? Because rewind, I said, have you played it in reverse instead? Because rewind function's a little different. But playing it regular time back in reverse, like
you could, you could make it like, well, I mean, I'll let you be the judge after you've watched.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, you guys, well, we got anything else for us? That's where we're going to end the show, unless anyone has anything for us.
No, I other than just go check out my two podcasts on Spotify, Gutter Punch and Dark Hodgepodge. And if you have a Roku, Seth and Tia is on these two apps, Betamax TV and Indie Volt TV.
Nice.
Yeah, and we want to thank Steve for coming and hanging out with us and telling us about all of his stuff.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff, and we will see you next time.
That was fun. I wouldn't mind coming. I definitely, if you guys ever want me back, let me know. I definitely had a blast. So.